on, Stellar Crew? Bob MacArthur here for Stellarvue Telescopes for the August 2026 edition of In the Sky. It is Milky Way season. We are in the thick of it. I love this time of year. Even though the nights are short, they are warm. Put on some bug repellent and get out with your telescope and observe the summer Milky Way. Down south, you have the galactic core with Sagittarius and Scorpius. As it streams across the sky through Aquila and Cygnus, you get those wonderful objects like the Lagoon Nebula, the Trifid Nebula, the Eagle Nebula, also known as the Pillars of Creation. You get M11, the Wild Duck Cluster. Holy cow, M13. There's so much to look at. Lots of nebulas, lots of star clusters. So get out there, get your telescope out. I got my SVX 152 out on a Los Mandy G11 mount. It's going to be fun tonight. We got Venus over in the western sky. So get out there, observe, and let's talk about what we got going on in the sky for August 2026. All right, what's going on, Stellar Crew? Here we are in my driveway again. It's still summertime. Get back to school here soon. Parents getting ready to get their kids back to school, but I'm still here in the driveway. So here we go. Let's talk about what we got going on in the sky for August 2026. There's a lot going on, guys. Holy cow. So August 7th, a lot of stuff in the morning. A lot of cool little groupings and conjunctions in the morning. August 7th, we have the Pleiades, M45, hanging out with the waning crescent moon. They're going to make a nice, close pairing. I love, again, whenever the moon and the Pleiades make that grouping or that pairing, it's just fun to watch. So check that out. August 9th in the early morning, M35, the waning crescent moon, and Mars make a nice trio. So M35 is a beautiful open star cluster at the bottom of Gemini by one of the feet. So you'll get Mars up there with a waning crescent moon. So check that out. August 11th, Mercury and the super thin waning crescent moon are going to hang low in the eastern horizon right before sunrise. So check out Mercury and the moon. That's going to be cool. Again, Mercury is a hard planet to spot because it never gets too far from the glow of the sun. But depending on your clear horizon and your viewing conditions, check that out. August 12th, this is a big one. We'll talk about this one a little bit later, but we have a total solar eclipse. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on in the show. So there we go. But August 12th and 13th, we have the Perseid Meteor Shower. I love the Perseid Meteor Shower. This is a meteor shower I have been watching since I was a kid. Last year we had a really good show. This year could be another really good show. Plus, we have the new moon in our favor. So nice dark skies. In the city, you'll see a few, but if you can get out to a dark sky location, there's a good chance you could see dozens of meteors on the night of the 12th and the 13th. The Perseid peaks better in the early morning because that's when the constellation Perseus comes up and you have the radiant where all the meteors will be coming from. So best after midnight. So check that out. You'll see some the week before and the week after. So it's a great meteor shower. I love that. Plus it's warm out and not super cold. So August 15th, just before sunrise, again, we have Mercury hanging low in the sky with Jupiter. So check that out. We got Mercury and Jupiter. We're talking about a half a degree apart. That'll be a cool photo op. But again, be careful because it's not that far from the sun. I want to say it's about 15 degrees from the sun. So you got to be careful viewing. So try and get it really when it's starting to pop up in the eastern horizon. So get a great view, a nice clear view of that eastern horizon, and try and get Mercury and Jupiter together. Oh, that'll be a cool opportunity. So now, same day, but after sunset, we have the thin waxing crescent moon and Venus. Venus has just been a beacon in the night sky, in the evening sky. So on the 15th, we get that waxing crescent moon because it's up there with Venus. So check out that after sunset and then before sunrise the same day, see if you can get Mercury and Jupiter. Now, August 20th, the waxing gibbous moon is about 1.5 degrees away from Antares. That's a fun one to get because you have that nice bright moon, and then that color contrast of Antares, which is a super red giant star. So check that out. Also, because it's going to be really close to Antares, try and get the moon, Antares, and see if you can get the M4, which is a beautiful globular star cluster in that same area. So check that out. Also, August 28th into the 27th into the 28th, we're going to get a very deep partial lunar eclipse. Now, what do I mean by that? It is almost a total lunar eclipse. I mean, almost. We'll talk about that a little bit later. So, yeah, there we go. So, a lot of cool things to check out with the planets and the moon and just the sky, meteor shower, a lot of cool events. So, get out there and check it out. So, the solar system. A lot of stuff going on there. Like I said, we got a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse. We'll talk about that. Your new moon is on August 12th, which makes sense because that's when the total solar eclipse is. And the full moon is August 28th, which is when the lunar eclipse is. So plan your observing sessions accordingly. We have some great... the sun has just been going. It has been fun to observe the sun with my Heliostar, with the white light filter on my SVX90T. The sun has been putting on a really good show. Now, planets, we're kind of in a weird season right now with planets. Venus is looking great. There's a shot that I took of Venus actually just recently. It is in that gibbous phase, actually probably more so in that kind of half Venus phase. But as it is now moving from behind the sun to in between the Earth and the sun, you're going to watch Venus get bigger. And you're also going to watch Venus go from a gibbous phase to a half phase to a crescent phase over the next few months. So check that out. The moon, always fun to observe. So, but Venus is the one putting on the big show in the night sky. Saturn is starting to become visible. Around midnight, just after midnight or around that midnight time, Saturn is starting to rise. I had a really good time enjoying it in July, and we're getting closer and closer to good Saturn season. Up by Saturn, we also have Neptune, so Neptune's there. And then we also have Uranus, Mars, up in the morning sky, and then Jupiter starting to get in the morning sky, and Venus. Not to mention, Mercury's up there with Jupiter. Not to mention, last month Pluto is in opposition, so check Pluto out. We have a bunch of great asteroids, so there's a lot to observe. So go to theskylive.com. It will talk about what asteroids are visible. Comet 10P Temple, putting on a great show down there in Capricornus. I think now moving down towards Aquarius. Great views of it in July. I had some really good views. It was around a 7th magnitude. I think it was going to be around 7th, 8th magnitude. So great comet. But again, theskylive.com tells you what asteroids, what comets, where the minor planets are like Pluto, and just get out there, check out that website if you want to try and shoot some of that stuff. Again, Stellarium, Sky Safari, also really good to kind of plan out your observing sessions. I love getting on Sky Safari and doing a search and searching them, and now I have an object list for the night. That's kind of what I've been doing lately. It's fun, but I've been writing down some cool stuff. So get out there. Use Stellarium, use Sky Safari to see where things are positioned, planet-wise, comet-wise, minor planets. Yeah. And again, spaceweather.com helps out a lot with the sun. There's been a lot of great activity. Some X-class solar flares, M-class solar flares. So check out what's going on with the sun. Now remember, if you are going to view the sun, please, please, please make sure you are using the proper solar filter. We got to keep these eyes to do our viewing and our observing. So H alpha, the Heliostar from Skywatcher is great. And if you're using just a regular telescope like the 152 I got back there, the 90T, make sure you have a good white light filter for the front. So, but let's talk about the lunar eclipse, because that's the eclipse that we are getting here in the Western Hemisphere. It is not going to be total, but it's going to be really, really, really close. Kind of like that shot right there of the lunar eclipse on March 14th, 2025. I believe that one was a total lunar eclipse, but that was right before it got total. So it'll be deep. You'll get that nice red glow, but you'll get a little bit of that sunlight still shining on part of the moon there. So yeah, so get out, check it out. I wrote my times for Denver right there. The partial eclipse begins at around 7:29. Maximum is about 10:12 p.m. And then the partial eclipse ends at 11:51 p.m. There's the time in universal time, so adjust accordingly. So it looks like if you're on the East Coast, you're well positioned for it. Also, South America is very well positioned. But you know what? Timeanddate.com, excuse me, timeanddate.com, phenomenal website to know when the equinoxes are, when eclipses are. So I really encourage you guys to check out that. I put the website there for this lunar eclipse. So yeah, check it out. Lunar eclipses are fun, and they're actually really fun to shoot with your cameras. My shot, I just do with it like my Canon SLR. So there you go. So let's talk about the solar eclipse. So a lunar eclipse, you have the sun, and then you have Earth, and then the moon is passing in Earth's shadow. So the shadow of the Earth is shining on the moon, giving the moon that reddish glow. And actually what causes that reddish, yellowish, orange glow, depending on the eclipse, is that sunlight shining through our atmosphere, and our atmosphere refracting or bending that light. And we get those long wavelengths of light shining on the moon, causing the moon to turn that reddish orange color. Now, for a solar eclipse, that is when we have the sun, and then the moon, and then the Earth, and the shadow of the moon is hitting the Earth. If you've ever seen a total solar eclipse, you know how amazing they are. I saw the one in 2017 in Wyoming. I saw the one in 2024 in Texas. That is a shot that I got with my SVX90T at the Texas eclipse just outside of Dallas. It was unbelievable. If you ever get the opportunity, go see a total solar eclipse. It blows your mind. It is just so cool. So we do have some, and I know some of our stellar crews getting out there to see the eclipse. It is going to go through parts of the Mediterranean, through Spain, and then up in the North Atlantic. It's going to hit parts of Iceland, and then up through Greenland for totality. Now, if you're not in the path of totality, you will get you'll get a partial eclipse. I have a picture of a partial eclipse. Actually, it was part of the total solar eclipse, so I wanted to show you what a partial solar eclipse would look like, because parts of New England will get to experience a partial solar eclipse, and parts of Europe and North Africa and things like that too. So again, we got the lunar eclipse, we got the solar eclipse. Actually, the solar eclipse is before the lunar eclipse. The solar eclipse is August 12th, and then the lunar eclipse is August 28th. I put the lunar eclipse first because that's going to be positioned very well for a lot of us in the Americas. So there you go. Now, there is also a lot going on in the night sky. Like I said, it is the heart of Milky Way season. Get out there and observe, because there is just so much to look at. I got my 152 out tonight, but you know, viewing this time of year can be so crazy because the monsoons and the thunderstorms. You know, it's clear one minute, you get your scope out, then it clouds up, and that's kind of what I got going on right now. But you know, you get a little patch of clear sky there, a little patch of sky there, and you try to observe whatever you can get. So whatever, right? You just, anytime we can look through the telescope or get data, that's good. I have M2 in there. M2 is just a nice little compact globular star cluster over in Aquarius. Aquarius is starting to rise in the eastern sky right now. I put M22. I like M22. You know, there's a lot of other stuff in the Milky Way that we kind of look at, and you know, other things get pushed aside. And I think M22 is sometimes that thing that gets pushed aside. We'll go look at M8, the Lagoon, or M20, the Trifid, or some of the other things. But M22 is an amazing globular star cluster. So check that one out. Actually, at the bottom of the teapot, Sagittarius, right at the bottom, there's a couple of really nice globulars down there too. So there's a lot of good stuff in Sagittarius. So you have M22 kind of at the top of the teapot. Now, we have NGC 6885, or Caldwell Object 37. This is a wonderful open star cluster. I have been looking for some new things, and actually have been really enjoying my Sky and Telescope magazine. They do a good job every month having new things, or they focus on a constellation, and Vapecula was that. And I really enjoyed going through there and found this just wonderful open star cluster. So check out NGC 6885. You know, M11, the wild duck, look at that image right there. That is a phenomenal image that Dan got. You have M11 right there, and then just that little, over there a little bit, you have NGC 6704. And look at the star cloud that he's getting in the Milky Way. Oh, just a great shot. The wild duck is just a wonderful open star cluster, so check that one out. You have IC 4665. That is an open star cluster kind of up there in the shoulder of Ophiuchus, sometimes referred to as a summer beehive. Very nice wide field. So if you do a wide field, it's gonna look great. Another one I really enjoyed was IC 4756, Graph's cluster. Just a really nice open star cluster. Just nice bright stars. Yeah, so there's just so much because it's Milky Way season. Plus we have the coat hanger. Now, the coat hanger is not a star cluster. It's just an asterism, but it looks like a coat hanger. And some of the stars within the coat hanger are really nice binaries. So get in there and check that out too. So I could keep going. There's so many star clusters, and I feel the same way about nebula because it is Milky Way season, and we are getting the Milky Way going across the sky from the south overhead. There are so many nebula to get. Now, Cepheus is starting to really kind of come up in the eastern sky a little bit. So now we're getting things like IC 1396, the Elephant Trunk, the Crescent Nebula, kind of in the long part of Cygnus of Swan or the Northern Cross. That's C27 or NGC 6888. Cool nebula. Now, comes out really nice photographically. If you want to see it visually, I've noticed a UHC filter really helps, and so does a dark location. I can get it in the 152. I can get it in my 16-inch Dob. Use a UHC filter on that to really help pop out and bring out that oh my gosh, that detail. So check that one out. We have NGC 6823. Now, I came across this one kind of by chance. I was observing, some of the clusters and other things. Like I said, my Sky Telescope magazine say, hey, check this out, Jessica. So I'm bouncing around, and I found this emission nebula, and I did a little bit of imaging with it in O3 and H alpha, and it was fun. Now, I'm not as good as you guys when it comes to imaging, but it was really cool to see that. So check that one out. Actually, if you guys image that, play with it, let me know. I want to see what you get. Just send it to Stellarvue. They'll send it to me. I want to see what you get because that nebula was fun. I got to put M8, the Lagoon. I mean, it is just a classic summer Milky Way object. So we got M8, the Lagoon Nebula. Love that one. If you're doing it visually, throw that UHC in there. Get that contrast. It's great. And then same thing with M17, the Omega. Or the Swan Nebula. Played around a little bit with that too, with some O3 and H alpha. That was fun. So I am playing around with some narrowband imaging. With I use a ASI 585 MC, and I also have an MM Pro. So doing a little bit of monochrome, little color. It's fun. Same thing. The dumbbell's great. You look at that image of the dumbbell. Phenomenal image Peter got there. Just great. And that was with an SVX 127D. And then you have Brian, who hit the Eagle Nebula, or the Pillars of Creation, with his SVX 152. So again, there are just so many things to get this time of year. So check that out. This one, the Snow Globe, it's a cool little planetary in Aquila. And one thing I try and do for y'all is I could list all like the traditional summer objects we like to look at, right? But there's just so many things I think we forget or try not to or we don't even think about seeking out. And I think NGC 6881, the Snow Globe, is one of those things. So this one was really cool to get just a nice, just good size kind of bluish glow in my refractor. I want to try and image this. If you image a 6881, please, again, let us know. Now, the summertime really isn't known for galaxies, but there are some galaxies to look at, like the Milky Way. I love just scanning the Milky Way with my telescope, whether it's my 152 or my 90 or even my 16-inch Dob. And I got a nice pair of binoculars, Oberth binoculars. They're just great. And that's one thing I actually really enjoyed doing when I was down in Chile in June, is just scanning the Milky Way and looking at all the clusters and the nebula and the dark lanes and the structure. I encourage you to do that. Sometimes we get at our screens or our eyepiece, and sometimes, especially if you're at a dark sky site, it's just looking up and taking in the sky. So do that for sure, right? Check it out. But we have Bernard's Galaxy, and there, John Talbot got a great shot of it there. It's a dwarf galaxy of the Milky Way, so check that one out. We have the Draco Triplet, NGC 5981. at 5982 and 5985. I like this because it's three different, you have two spirals and elliptical, and one spiral is more edge on and one's more open. So really cool, and they're just kind of lined up. So check that one out. I know some of you have imaged it. It's really cool visually too. This is a one, again, just fun. Happened to find this one, NGC 6814. Cool little kind of open up spiral galaxy. So check that one out. And the fireworks is a great one too. It's summertime, 4th of July and fireworks and things like that. Not out here in the West with all the fires. So please be careful with fireworks. But instead of lighting off fireworks, just go look at the fireworks galaxy up in Cepheus and Cygnus. I really do like this galaxy. And again, like I said, just look at the Milky Way, right? So, as usual, I try and get some really great binaries. And I found some gems this month. I really enjoyed searching out some new binaries. And I got my notes here. Out of all of these, the only one I had really observed before is Delta Cygni. But there are some other great ones like Struve 2735 or HR 8010 and Delphinus. This is a cool one. I really enjoyed this one. It is a nice, I got my notes. It's a nice tight pair with the secondary being about a magnitude fainter. You have the primary, which is a yellowish orange in color, right? It's also a good test of seeing conditions because they're tight, okay? So that's what I really liked about this one. So you get a good kind of tight pair, magnitude difference, cool colors, yellowish orange. So check out that one. Really enjoyed finding that one. And like I said, it's tight, so it's a good test of seeing conditions. And then you have Theta Serpent, so Ayla. This is a great one. It's a binary that's very nice, similar brightness stars, similar color like yellowish white, and a really nice, easy separation. So this is a good one to get to. Just solid, beautiful, bright, yellowish white stars. Check that one out. I do like Delta Cygnus. I think what happens is we all look at Alberio, which is at the bottom of the cross, and we don't look at the other parts of Cygnus when it comes to binaries. But Delta Cygnus is a nice one. Nice tight binary, good color. You have a primary blue, a whitish or yellowish secondary, and again, it's tight but doable. So check out Delta Cygni, and then we'll end up on 70 Ophiuchi. Tight but nice separation. Primary is yellowish white, secondary is yellowish orange, so you get kind of a yellowish or white. Yeah, so kind of a cool color difference and a nice magnitude difference. So I really do try and find some good ones for y'all. I just think these, and I've said it before, these refractors, the SVX refractors, just showcase binaries. You get that airy disk and just beautiful. And when you have good seeing conditions, getting those tight binaries to separate is just so good, right? So it is August. We are in the heat. Literally, depending on where you're at. We are in the heart of Milky Way season, and unfortunately for some of us, the heart of Milky Way season also happens to be the heart of monsoon season. It's starting to clear up, so I might be able to get something, and the moon's starting to pop out through the clouds. So, so as summer vacations are wrapping up, as family vacations for summer are still going or wrapping up, just remember to look up, right? It is a great time of year to get out. The weather's good. Get out and see the Perseid Meteor Shower. Put on some bug spray. Get to a dark sky location and take in that Milky Way. When we get out there and we see the Milky Way streaming across the sky, there's something about it. It changes you. It gives you a place in the universe, right? And it's just, whether it's in the southern hemisphere, seeing that Milky Way, or the northern hemisphere, it's just phenomenal to see that Milky Way galaxy. So get out there, observe with your eyes, take images, share that stuff with your friends, because that's how this hobby grows, is by sharing it. That's how this passion grows, is by sharing it. So get out there, have fun, get your gear out there, get involved in your local astronomy clubs, and keep looking up.